Hello everybody. Today we're gonna go ahead and install the NVIDIA proprietary drivers in order to utilize the GPU acceleration for password cracking. Now, before I begin, I would advise you to actually just follow along with this and not actually do what I do. I mean, you definitely can. It's within the realm of possibility. I will show you each step of the way. But the thing is, when you perform the proprietary driver installation on Fedora, you can encounter problems. And that can mess up your graphics pretty badly. I mean, not do any physical harm, but just you're gonna have to go, if you mess things up, you will have to go into the rescue mode, boot with basic drivers or with the init 3, the run level 3, and then attempt to repair from there. I don't know. This can happen. It generally, I mean, as far as I read in the forums, everything seems to work just fine with Fedora 22, 23, and 24. So, yeah, you can see what I do, but you don't necessarily have to do it. And also keep in mind that the NVIDIA drivers are proprietary and closed source. So you are introducing a kernel taint to your system, a binary blob. So as soon as I'm done with this course, I will perform a system-wide reinstall because I wish to purge it of all binary blobs and I don't really need the NVIDIA drivers for anything other than actually password cracking, because those NVIDIA cards are generally being passed to the virtual machines on Windows, where the closed source drivers function in a secluded closed environment where they don't actually have full system access. Anyway, however, if you do want to do this, if you do want to see the speed of the GPU, let me show you how I am going to install the NVIDIA drivers and use them with Hashcat. Also, this is doable, perfectly doable with the AMD graphic cards. The driver installation is fairly similar. You still need the proprietary AMD drivers. I'm not going to show how to do that because my AMD card, that's currently tied to my main system, and I really can't. And aside from that, I'm going to encounter a ton of problems if I install the proprietary NVIDIA and AMD drivers. That's going to cause a lot of problems. Aside from that, I've actually plugged the AMD card out so as not to cause any conflicts during the process. So I only have NVIDIA cards inside. Now, let's go and have a look at what we can do. First thing to do is type in ls bci grep -i vga. Okay, so here you will see that your NVIDIA cards are recognized, 1 to however many you have in the system. They need to be listed here in order for them to be recognized. This is how you know that they are at least recognized by the system. You might say, well, I can see the picture on the screen. Yes, that's all fine, but you still need to do this to verify that they are visible here. And aside from that, you will be able to see the model of your graphic card here. So it's GeForce GTX 970. The next step to do is to go over to the NVIDIA website and type in NVIDIA driver download and just download the first one from the top and just click the first one from the top, and it's GeForce 900 series because it's 970. Okay, so 970 Linux 64-bit. If your system is 32-bit, well, just select Linux 32-bit. And go ahead and click on search. And there you go, version 367.27, very important. You can go ahead and click on download and click on agree and download and then click on save. I'm not going to do that because I've already downloaded them twice and they're already installed here. So once you have actually done that, you can close the browser and you can navigate over to your downloads folder in the terminal. You need to be root. downloads, and then do ls grep-i nvi, so NVIDIA. And you can see I've already downloaded it twice. Now you need to type in chmod +x and type in NVIDIA Linux x86-64 367.27.run. We are going to change the permissions for this file to be executable. That's one of the beauties of Linux, is that all files downloaded from the net, regardless of what sort of an extension do they have, are not executable by default, which is a fantastic security measure that is put in place. It's not like Windows. In Windows, if you have .exe, it can execute. But in Linux, it doesn't matter what extension you have. If you don't have the execute permissions on the file, it's not going to happen. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is make sure that our system is up to date. So DNF update, and perform an update of your system and then reboot afterwards just in case. So I probably shouldn't have started this process, but I don't think I have many updates anyway, or I shouldn't have, as I did update the system yesterday. There are a frightening amount of updates for Linux, but it's not for Linux actually, because the Linux update system is, and there you go, I actually do have things that I need updated. The fascinating thing about Linux is that it doesn't just update the system itself like on Windows. Rather, instead, it updates everything it updates all of your programs that you have installed via the repositories. So everything installed from repositories is updated with this command, which is fantastic because you don't need 100 different update programs running on your system for various programs. Rather, instead, they have a unified point of update, which is marvelous. And you can reboot the system. Actually, Linux, for the most part, during these updates doesn't require a reboot unless it's like the kernel or maybe SC Linux or something like that. Oh, not even SC Linux, because this is just a policy update. Unless it's the kernel, I don't think that there is generally a need to reboot the system. But reboot just in case and then come back. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do is install a bunch of dependencies which the drivers are going to require. So type in dnf install and kernel-devel kernel-headers gcc the compiler. We'll also need 2 more packages, which is dkms and acpid. And there you go. So you just need to install these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packages, and they're already installed here, so no need for me to do it all over again. But your installation might take a while. So the next thing to do is to actually disable the default I can't really pronounce this driver name. It's NoVow driver for the NVIDIA graphic cards, which is pretty good. But as far as my knowledge goes, they didn't implement 3D acceleration, not just yet. So type in echo blacklist NoVow and then etcmod probe blacklist.conf. If you don't have the blacklist.conf, it's fine, just type it in anyway and it's going to be created. And this is the line that you will require. Now the next thing that we need to do is actually edit the grub file. So type in vim. If you don't have vim, type in dnf install vim, type in vim /etc sysconfig grub. Press I to enter the insert mode, go down to the grub cmd line and go to the end of it. So look, this part, this is something specific to my machine. Forget about this part, you don't need that. You just need this particular line here. So rd.driver.blacklist equals Navao, and that's what you need to type in. Then press escape, :WQ for write quit, and clear the screen with Control L. Now we need to actually update the configuration which we have just made. So grub do.mkconfig -o, and now there are two paths. So one is if you are using the UEFI BIOS, and the other one is if you're using the legacy BIOS. So this is for the UEFI BIOS because most machines will be using the UEFI BIOS. fe fedora grub.cfg and press enter. If you are using the legacy BIOS, then just type in grub2 grub.cfg and press enter. So one of the two commands. Okay, so next stage is to type in dnf remove xorg -x11 -drv -navao. I'm just checking my spelling from my notes, and yes, I am reading from my notes. It's kind of hard to think about these things while you are actually typing and talking about them at the same time. So I do need reminders. And just press enter here with this command to remove this. Then we need to generate the new init frames. Basically, drawcut -boot -init and then we're gonna need to get our kernel name. So uname -r. The $sign treats this like a. It's gonna take the output of the uname -r command, and it's gonna place it here, which will be our kernel version. .img, and then we need the $sign again. Uname -r, and just close this. That's it. So it might give you some problems here, like will not override existing, just add --force. So it's telling you what you can do. If you type in --force, it will override them. This might take a while. So don't panic if it doesn't happen instantly. Once you press enter here, this process takes a while. And the next thing that you need to do is set run level to 3. Now, once you set the run level to 3, you're going to be booting without any sort of GUI interface. So keep that in mind. You will need a cell phone or something like that where you will be able to continue watching this tutorial, because once you reboot the machine, you will only have the terminal interface. Keep it in mind. Systemctl set default multi-user.target and press enter. This is going to set your run level to 3, and upon reboot you will boot into the GUI, into the terminal without any GUI of whatsoever. Now, you will need to, at this point of time, you will need to reboot your machine. But before you do, the rest of this tutorial will actually continue with slides. You just need to type in a few commands and answer a few questions that systems asks you, and then set the run level back to 5 so that you may boot into GUI back up again. So I probably won't be doing any talking there. It'll be just a bunch of slides guiding you through the commands which you need to type in, and then then you're probably going to need to reboot again. And once that is done, we will go into the Hashcat and see how to install that for the GPU usage for password cracking. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bid you farewell here, and the next tutorial will most likely be just slides for you to follow through. So you can follow them on your phone and do them on your PC, because as I said, you'll be in run level 3 and there will be no GUI interface of whatsoever.